Hey, love. Welcome to the podcast. This is a space where we are done pretending that in order for you to achieve the goals, the dreams, the desires that you have deep aching within your heart, that you have to do it like men. We are done playing by the rules that were not really designed for us in the first place. The ones that say that our bodies, our menstrual cycles don't exist, that business has to be hard, that we have to hustle hard in order to achieve what we want. In this space, business gets to feel so freaking good. We get to ride with the waves of what your body is actually asking you to do, what deep down in your soul you know that you were here and called to do. As a woman who has been there, done that, and hustled my way through so much, forced myself, built a business like a man for many, many years, here is what I know to be true. You don't need another strategy. You don't need more discipline. You don't need to be more consistent. And you definitely don't need to just work harder. You need rhythm. You need safety within the body. You need the business that's going to feel so freaking good and that moves with you and with the laws of the universe. On this podcast, we're going to talk about what it really looks like to lead as a woman. We talk about menstrual cycles, money, identity, visibility, power, building wealth, and really ultimately becoming the kind of woman who doesn't need permission to go after her dreams or to take up space in this world. So take a deep breath and let's build the life that you desire the feminine way. All right, friend, we are going to talk about in this episode the two things that you must be doing in your business if you want it to grow, especially if you are like me and you have limited amounts of time in your day, whether you're juggling a job or you're juggling kids and life. If you're like me and you're recording this and things like that in your car right before a soccer game. I literally dropped off my son at the soccer field and then went and ran a few errands. And then it came back because they have to be at the field like an hour before the game actually even starts. And so I'm squeezing in, making use of even that hour of little bit of time. And so here we are recording this episode. I get asked a lot how it is that I grow my business with only 1.5 days of energy, like focused on building my business. And it really comes down to focusing on these two things. And these two things are the things I hear so many entrepreneurs, we think we're focusing on these things when in reality we're not. And so the first one is selling. Like we have to fall in love with selling in everything that we're doing, whether it's creating content, whether it's writing an email, whether it's a sales page, like in all of it. Selling needs to be the primary focus that we're focusing on because without income coming in, we're just building a really expensive hobby. And trust me, I am speaking from experience in this. Like I spent many, many years investing way more money into my business than I was actually generating revenue. One, because I had so many money stories to kind of work through and problem solve and release and let go of in relationship to my worth and being able to charge people for what I was offering and just so much to unpack there in terms of my stories. But there was also this element of I really just wanted to help people. I really wanted to make a difference in people's lives. And I think especially as heart-centered entrepreneurs, there is this kind of feel that we would do this regardless of whether or not we were getting paid or not. But at the end of the day, we do need to get paid because when we get paid, that's what allows us to expand our offers, to be able to grow our impact, to be able to help more people, to serve more people, to be able to feel like there's less pressure on our lives, which then opens us up to more capacity to share and create more impact. And it becomes this domino and this ripple effect that happens. And so when we open ourselves up to receive energetically, to receive money, we open ourselves up to the opportunity to create a bigger impact. So selling isn't just this thing. I think a lot of us maybe grew up, at least I did, with this feeling that like selling is sleazy and selling is spammy and selling is no good. But I actually had somebody ask me the other day, how do you feel when you feel sold to? And to be honest, it depends on who's selling and what they're selling. But if it's somebody who's aligned with what I want and the goals that I want, I love being sold to. I love when somebody comes to me and tells me all of the amazing, wonderful ways that this product or this thing is going to change my life. Even my son the other day, we were in the car and we were listening to the radio. And he was like, dude, I don't need all the backstory of this ad. Just tell me what you're selling and why I need it. Like just that energy of selling is this opportunity that we have to either better our lives, whether it's somebody is selling something to us that's going to enhance our life, better our life, make things easier for us, make things simpler for us. Like, and I love that. Like, I'm like, sell the thing to me, right? Like, even when I just recently bought my car, I was like, I'm in the market to buy a car right now. Please sell to me why I need this car. And it was interesting to watch the salespeople from the other end, like totally missing the mark and totally not connecting with what I really was wanting and not actually selling me in the way that I needed. And I know a lot of mentors and coaches will talk about like selling is serving. And when we think about it from that perspective, when we are selling, we are meeting a need for somebody. We are solving a problem for somebody. We are helping them in ways that they need helping. The problem in our businesses is that a lot of times we are focused on things that we think are selling, but they're not actually selling, right? We spend a ton of time revamping a website, or we spend a lot of time fiddling with our branding, or we spend a lot of time creating social media content. And the thing is like some of those things may be directly tied to selling and some of them are not. Some of them are not actually leading to a sale. Social media is a big one. I see a lot of people spending so many hours building on social media, but I would question and I would go back and I would look at like, are you actually generating sales from social media? And if you're not generating sales from social media right now and you can like directly tie to it, then my question is social media the best use of your time? Right? When I look at my business, I create this rhythm of my year. I really love taking the summers off. I like slow way down. I still get work done and I still move my business forward, but it's like my slow season. The same is in the month of December when it's like holidays and things like that. I very much am creating this cyclical rhythm to my year of I want seasons of really pushing hard and going hard. And I also have these seasons of rest and spending time with my family and enjoyment and loving life and all of those things. And in those seasons, selling is one of the top things that I am still focused on. Like when I get down and I sit down and I look at all the things I need to get done in my business, if it does not come from the lens of selling or serving, which is our next one, if it's not selling or serving, it's not getting done in those two seasons because selling and serving are the prime things that are going to move the needle in your business. So I've had this conversation with a couple of different clients recently and some different people in my audience that I've spoken to, people who are feeling a little burnt out with all of the things on their plate, with all of the things they have to do. And yes, aligning everything with my cycle and working in alignment with my cycle. And so it gets done faster and easier, 100%. But I think it even takes it up this level of a notch of, I think a lot of the things that most of us are doing in our businesses are not essential things to move the needle in your business. And especially if you are a solopreneur or you're somebody who's in that phase of you're still, generating between $1,000 and $10,000 months, the things that you need to be focused on predominantly are selling, like selling money, getting money in the door, like moving the needle in your business. And so the websites and the branding and all of those things generally are not where we need to be focusing our time and energy. I know people who've built $1 million businesses without a website. I know people who have, consistent $10 to $40,000 months without an Instagram account. Like I know people who are building these businesses without those things that I feel like our industry has told us are kind of the keys to getting there where we want to go. And it's because they focused on these two things. And like I said, I'm speaking from experience of like, I did not do it that way. Right. I saw all of the flashy little things, all of the trending things. I remember at one point doing these like little FOMO pop-ups on my website thinking, oh, these FOMO pop-ups, like I'm going to go through all the work of installing this and this is going to be the thing that moves the needle. But it doesn't. It's like, I spent so much time like tracking how people were going through my landing pages and how people were on my sales pages. It's like, that's not moving the needle. Like those are not the things that are actually driving the revenue. So when you look at your business right now, having a real heart to heart with yourself of, am I actually selling right now? Like, am I actually putting my offers out there? Am I actually having conversations with people? Am I pitching myself? Am I like putting the offer out there more and more and more and more and more and more? I know sometimes we think that we're doing it a lot. But I think the stats I saw recently is like somebody needs to see your offer 40 times. 40 times. That's so much before they've even kind of like paid attention to it. I think even for me, I sometimes will put something out there. I'll like on social media, I'll say like, oh, when's the last time I pitched maybe my book? Or when was the last time I talked about my programs? And I look back through my social media content in my mind thinking, oh, I talked about it last week. And then I'll look through and I was like, oh, it's like 50 posts ago, right? Sometimes we think we're talking about it all the time when we're really not. And I know this feeling of, I don't want to be spammy. I don't want to be in front. I don't want people to think that all I do is sell and all that. But here's the thing. I was even noticing this about myself recently about emails that I'm still subscribed to. It's like I love getting emails from certain people that are value add, but at the end of the day, one, I know that they're a service and I know that they have something to offer. And two, if they have something to offer me that's going to help me and better me and support my life, I just want to know about the offer, right? I, I don't need them to nurture me for 45 emails before they put the offer in front of me. Like, help me solve my problems, like, help me fix it, right? And I think as just the way I grew up and the way I think a lot of the people I talk to grow up is that we think that we have to, really nurture these people and really support them and really, you know, bring them along this journey before we can pitch and sell to them. And there is a level of trust that we do need to build with our audience and a level of authority, but it doesn't always have to be this like lengthy, drawn out thing. So selling is number one. The second one is serving. Okay. Once we've sold those people, once we've helped bring them into our world, then we want to serve the heck out of them. This is one of I have 7 P's inside my program that I really focus on. The profit was the other one. One of the other P's is this essence of polishing, really polishing what it is that we do, getting really good at being the expert at getting our people results, like refining our stuff. I think for me, a lot of times I was putting an offer out there. I was putting out a product and it would do okay. And then I'd move on to the next one. And then I would put something out there and be like, oh, maybe that one didn't work really well. And I'd move on to the next one. And I see this happening all the time with entrepreneurs I talk to, is this feeling of I put something out there, it does okay, or maybe it doesn't do very well. And so I pivot and I go to something new. And then we stay on this cycle and this journey of constantly putting something out there, constantly trying something new, and then never actually really moving the needle in the way that we want to. But when we bring in this idea of polishing, right? We take a rock that's all jagged and crusty and dirty and sharp and all these things, and we put it into a tumbler. I believe that's what they're called. You polish a rock and you put it in there and it just like tumbles over and over and over and over again. And then over at time, those edges get a little bit smoothed out and then it gets smoother and smoother. And then it becomes this really beautiful, magical like rock, right? Or crystal or whatever it is that you stuck in that polisher or that tumbler. That's kind of the idea that we want to have when we look at our business and our offers too, is how we're serving people, both on the outside and also on the inside. How can we get really good at serving our people? How can we look at the things that we're putting out there in the world and think, how can I make this top notch? How can I enhance this? How can I help my people get results faster? How can I help them get results easier? And we continually come back to it and back to it and back to it and refine the things that we're doing, because that's how we actually have people come into our world and love what we're doing and love what we're offering, and then walk away and want to tell all of their friends and invite all of their people, and they become our best referrers and sending other people to us. Instead of, like, one of my worst fears is having people come into my world and feel like they didn't get what they paid for. I've been there. I've invested in programs and I'm like, nah, it was okay. And I definitely walked away with lessons and things out of it, but I didn't feel like it was worth what I invested. And I never want anybody to feel that way when they've come into my world. Like, I want people to walk away feeling like it was life-changing, that it was one of the best programs they've invested in. And they're walking away with so many things that they didn't expect and so much value beyond what they imagined, right? That's what I want people to come into my world feeling. And the only way that that's going to happen is I focus on how I'm serving and showing up for those people. And so when you look at your whole business ecosystem, and if you have limited amounts of time, if you have limited amounts of energy, if you are in a season of slowing down and prioritizing family, or you're in a season of prioritizing your health or prioritizing something else other than your business, come back to these two things, selling and serving. How am I selling more of my offers? And how am I serving my offers in the best possible way that I possibly can? Okay. It doesn't have to even be in seasons that are slow or seasons when you're prioritizing something else. I think if 100% of the time we came back to this and looked at this in our business, one, we would create far simpler systems in our businesses. We'd create far simpler ways to scale and grow. And we'd be focusing our time and energy where it matters most, right? Selling our offers, serving our people. And then as our businesses grow, then yes, then it's like leading a team that then is doing those things and supporting those things. But these are the fundamentals, right? It comes back to like serving our people. How do we serve our people and make the impact that we want in the world? It's by offering them the opportunity to work with us and then serving the heck out of them when they get into our worlds, having them like feel like they just got this massive transformation and they feel so good and they just want to go tell other people about it. And it becomes this ripple effect. When we don't talk about our offers, we don't sell. And then we're wondering why our business isn't growing. And then two, if we're not providing really great products and services, then our people kind of drift off. And then that doesn't serve us either. So my invitation for you today is to look at your schedule this week and look at what am I doing in my schedule this week that is focused on selling and serving. Everything that's in your calendar, go back through the lens of, is this a selling task or is this a serving task? And if it's neither of those two things, then put it aside until you focus on those two things. Inside my programs, I always teach my clients to focus. If you only have 2 hours a day to work in your business or an hour a day, the CEO Power Hour that I've created for them focuses on these two things first, selling and serving. Once you've done those tasks, then you can move on to the other things. Then you can move on to, playing on the landing pages and the sales pages and the social media copy and like all that kind of stuff. But until you have focused on these two priorities first, don't do any of the other things in your business. Okay. That's my invitation for you. And my invitation for you too would be to look at, how can you begin selling every single day? How can you sell every single day? It may not be a selling like I'm offering directly to a specific offer, but how am I selling somebody into my world and inviting them into a lead magnet? How am I inviting them into taking a next step? How am I inviting them into the next place? Because we're really selling at all of those different points, right? We're selling them on why they need to get on a lead magnet, and we're selling them why they need to get on a call, and we need to sell them on why they need to get into these next places. We think that we just put the invitations out there, but really it is like, we need to tell people why. Why do they need this? Why do they need to book a call with you? Why do they need to download your freebie? Why do they need to pick up that low ticket offer? Like, why? Like, sell it to them. And then also put your offers out there. Put your offers out there. Share more about your offers. Like, look at your business right now and say, where can I put my offer out there more available, more consistently? Even today, I was thinking about, social media, and there was a mentor I was going to look at, and I'm like, oh, she's really cool. I want to know more about her. And I went to her page and wanted to know, like, what are the offers that she has? Like, what does she put out there? Because we know that now, right? We know that these coaches aren't just talking on the internet, on Instagram, and that's it. Like, we know that they have offers out there in the world. And if I'm aligned and I'm drawn to this person, I want to know what she has to offer, and I want to know if it fits for where I'm at in my life. And so I went to her page and I was looking, through her bio links, and then one of her top posts on her Instagram feed, one of the pinned posts, had her core offers listed right there. And I could swipe through and see, ooh, this one feels aligned with me. Do you have that? Like, is it so easy for your people in your world to buy from you? And if it's not easy for people to buy from you, how can you make it easy for people to buy from you? So selling, serving, talk about your offers, make it so damn easy for people to buy from you, and then serve the heck out of your people. And I guarantee you focus on these two things, your business will get far simpler, far easier. You'll get so much more flow. It'll feel so much more abundant and amazing and wonderful. And you will start to see more profit come in the door. Okay? All right. Let me know how it goes, and then I will see you in the next episode. All right, love, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode with me. It was such a pleasure and honor to be able to spend and hold space with you today. If you would love to dive into more, I invite you to grab a free copy of my book, Cycle Sync Your Business. You just head on over to reneefick.com/free book, and you can grab that free copy. It'll ship directly to your door. Or you can go over to reneefick.com/The Feminine Way to grab the first couple chapters on audiobook so you can listen on the go wherever you are, however you want. And if you're interested in learning more about how you can work with me inside your Cycle Advantage or the Awaken Retreat, I invite you to head on over to reneefick.com and check both of those two programs out. With that, I will see you in the next episode. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day.